Welcome to New Life Live with Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's today's host, Chris Wiliams.
Welcome, New Life listeners, family, friends. We're so glad that you're with us today. And I am so glad, again, to be in studio with two remarkable people. Dr. Sheri Keffer. How are you doing, good doctor?
I'm good. I'm very good that I'm here with you and our lovely.
And another good doctor, the good doctor, Dr. Alice Benton. How are you doing?
Laughing already because it's so enjoyable to be with you too and all you listeners. And I always learn something, don't we all? So what a pleasure.
It's great. And so, Sheri, what's been on your mind these days?
You know, I think about, and I think this came after we, had been together on the last call. We had a gentleman who Glenn, who we love, and I'm continuing to pray for him, and I just ask that you listeners, we'd pray for Glenn as well. But
he was our final caller on the Wednesday show.
Yeah, and he had made a decision to euthanize himself, and we were able to encourage his heart. He called, reached out for help, and he made the decision to cancel the appointment. But it made me think about how many of us get into situations where we feel trapped, where we feel like we don't have a way out. And in that moment, in those days, in those weeks, when we feel trapped, I don't have a way out, I don't have any options, our perspective, our view can get so small that we feel like the only door that we have is to take our life.
Yeah.
Whether it's to have somebody do it or to do it ourselves. So it just made me highly aware that we have some listeners, I'm sure, here that you may be struggling with a situation today and you don't know your path out. You may be having some suicidal ideations. You may be feeling alone. You may be feeling in the midst of heartache because you've experienced betrayal or you've just lost someone that you've loved. And I just want to let you know that we love you. We love you. We are a phone call away here at New Life. We have a team of people that are here for you at any time. You can call us and reach out to us. But just know, if all else fails, we're that voice that's going to be here, that's going to say, we love you, you matter, we care about you, you're more than enough, and you're definitely worth fighting for.
Absolutely.
And although suicide seems like a solution in those bleakest of times, I also see it as a temptation. And God says that he will make a way out, that no temptation is too great for us to bear because he'll make a way out. But usually that way out is through other people. And when you've been hurt over and over again and help has been disappointing, it's so hard to allow a person in. And so making a phone call to us today may be what you're capable of, but that can be part of God's way out for you.
And we have a call center. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and we have people, in the office there in Texas that can take your phone call if you're struggling, or you can call us, 1-800-229-3000. And speaking of that, Sheri, you mentioned, we talked about hopelessness and helplessness, and New Life exists to bring hope and healing, hope and help in life's hardest places. And that's what we're here to do. And we have a whole group of new listeners around the Memphis area listening on WUMY. And we're so glad that you're with us. And we would love to hear from you, love for you to call into the show. And just want you to know that, that we're glad that you now have access to us. And there, you can also listen to us on the podcast, YouTube, many different ways. And we'll come right back to you right after this.
My husband was involved with pornography addiction.
He was unfaithful. He stepped out on the marriage and ended up having a child.
The Restore Intensive is designed for a woman dealing with a man's sexual addiction issues.
There were strip clubs. My husband is a recovering sex addict.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, July 12th through the 14th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
1-800-NEWLIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
I'm Steve Arterburn with a New Life Moment. Talking about Jesus elicits many responses from people. Some are outraged by him, others adore him. Some think he's a prophet or humanitarian, a great moral teacher. Others remain disinterested and indifferent. What do you think? But think about it before you answer. Many well-worn answers simply won't suffice. That's because Jesus Christ claimed to forgive sins. Now, it's one thing to forgive a wrong done against yourself. It's quite another to forgive a wrong against someone else, especially if that someone happens to be God. As C.S. Lewis wisely observed, sin is sin precisely because it's against God. So if Jesus Christ wasn't a self-deluded lunatic and he wasn't a blatant liar, there's only one other possible alternative. Jesus Christ was God himself. Who is Jesus Christ to you? Lunatic, liar, or Lord? For more help thinking this through, visit newlife.com. I'm Steve Arterburn, and thanks for listening to this New Life Moment.
More and more wisdom from Steve, and I'm encouraged, and I love it every time I hear it. And Sheri, you mentioned at the beginning of the show, we had a caller on the Wednesday show, and he really was at the end of his life.
Yeah, Glenn.
And he did just a great job calling in, getting help, taking direction. And I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't thank those of you that support this show. I want you to be able to celebrate. I want you to be able to take some encouragement and to know that your partnership here has impact.
It just kept a man alive.
It saved a life.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So
for real. So thank you all.
That's it. That's all we have to say is thank you, thank you, thank you. So, yeah. So let's, with that, go to another call. Let's see if we can help another person. We're going to go to Laura in San Diego, California, listening on the podcast. Laura, are you there?
I am.
All right. Tell us what's going on.
Well, my husband went to the recovery in April on Zoom, or online rather, and he's since been going to the weekly Zoom council meetings.
Okay, and
he doesn't seem to be
getting... And
go ahead.
What recovery was that?
He had an emotional affair for 10 years.
Okay, yeah.
And so he came to our Every Man's Battle intensive, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Online,
yes.
And, and at first he said he didn't do anything wrong, but they were on WeChat for 3 years, erasing their messages.
Wow.
I knew she was a client of his. Yeah, I knew she was a client of his. I had no idea that they were friends, that they were talking. She was getting him to do things for her. And they met, he says, only 3 times for lunch, which I don't know if that's true or not. He says there was no sex, no talk of sex. I don't know that either. But my question is, what causes a man to do something? And he says he's a Christian. What causes a man to do something like that? What causes someone to have to sneak around for 10 years with a woman? Why doesn't he have men friends? He never has friends. I get all the friends. Why doesn't he have men friends?
Yeah.
Why would he sneak around with this woman.
Yes, I definitely want to address that question. And Laura, but I want to ask another question about you. What has happened inside of you, inside of your heart, as a result of your husband's deception and his cheating?
Oh, I have no respect for him. I think he's a liar, a deceiver, and I think I've probably... It's taken away all the good memories of our marriage. We've been married 54 years.
Wow.
It's taken away all the good memories, and all I see is lies and deception. This is not the first time. First time was pornography. We almost divorced. Then it was a strip club. He only went there twice. Not that that justifies anything or minimize it, but I caught him doing that. And then he went with these friends to a bikini bar. That was over 20 years ago.
Well, let me jump in, because I
almost
think
divorced him then.
Yeah. So Laura, let me jump in just really
finish
quickly. So sorry.
Okay.
I know that there is a super long list, and here's why I'm jumping in. Because your gut tells you what?
That he's a pervert.
Well, hold on.
And he has never changed. Never, ever changed.
Yes, that there's probably behavior you don't even know about.
Yeah.
Would that be correct?
Probably is. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I'm getting at. Because one of the things that happens in sexual addiction is there is this insidious and horrific, powerful thing called defense mechanisms. And so the first things that we do is we deny. Then we minimize and justify and rationalize. And all of these defense mechanisms are really, at the end of the day, gaslighting. Trying to paint a different reality than what is real. And what is ultimately incredibly painful. So I can only imagine inside of you there is a tremendous amount, obviously the anger, the well-earned anger, but the hurt and the chaos and the confusion in all of this.
And Laura, you have every right to ask that question. Why? I need answers. I need to figure this out. If you had that answer, what do you think it would do for you?
It would tell me if I'm going to divorce him or try to work on the marriage.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah.
All right. And you had started off telling
it would
us...
help me make the decision.
Okay. You'd started off telling us he went to Every Man's Battle. Then you said something about his ongoing participation in the group. So tell us, what structure has he stuck with since April?
I know he meets with the guys on Wednesdays. I don't know what else he's doing. But he's gotten worse, not better.
Yeah.
I mean, he started swearing, and I mean, I just can't even believe it, how he acts. I can't believe he's swearing. That's horrible.
Yeah. So Laura, I'm so glad that you called in today, because we have two experts, Dr. Alice Benton and Dr. Sheri Keffer, on this, and they see this all the time. Sheri, what are you thinking?
First off, Laura, I don't have words for how heartbroken I am that you have been living a lifetime, decades, with someone who I believe may very well have a sex addiction. And what's really sad to me is I feel like, Laura, you and your husband have been very missed. You have been very missed in the kind of treatment or lack of treatment that you've gotten. And let me just say, girl, it has nothing to do with you, and it's not your fault.
I know that.
Yeah.
I'm very well aware of that,
yeah.
Sheri.
And so the thing is, though, what has happened, the trajectory is basically a very quick, short line, is that I'm going to either divorce him or work on our marriage. But this isn't a marriage issue. Laura, it's not a marriage issue.
It's his heart issue.
Actually, it's even deeper than that. It's a sex addiction issue. It is a sex addiction issue. He is a sex addict. The reason I know this is because my husband, Connor, is actually like your husband. And my husband...
Let me tell you real quick, for the past 18 years before this happened, and he was doing it 10 of those years, I thought everything was fine. We had the best time. I thought our lives were so much better, and all this was behind us. I had no idea.
I know.
So I guess I was fooled.
You were deceived.
You know.
You were deceived.
Yeah.
And that's what's so heartbreaking. Why didn't you see it? Because he's a liar and a deceiver, and he's hiding it. That's the sad thing with sex addiction. It's actually, there's two things that are going on. It's not only the sex addiction, the compulsive sexual behavior, the acting out that is harmful to you and himself, but there's an integrity disorder that is running tandem with that. An integrity disorder is the lying, the hiding, the gaslighting, the acting out sexually or emotionally and then coming home and having dinner with you. That decimates us. Because you're making memories above the waterline. You're having a good time. You're traveling. But you have no idea that he is acting out. He has a secret sexual basement. And he's acting out in that secret sexual basement. And he's keeping it from you. That's not been addressed. It's like cancer that's been in your marriage. Except he's been making choices to lie and to keep this from you. So my question...
We went to counseling and none of that came out. He will not be truthful.
Okay. And then you're truthful, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes maybe too truthful.
No, you're perfectly truthful because you have betrayal trauma. I wrote a book. It's called Intimate Deception, Healing the Wounds of Sexual Betrayal. And we are perfectly truthful because we're not willing to tolerate the lies. And we need safety in the truth. Those are the two pillars I talk about, safety and the truth.
Yes.
In order to...
And there's no healing without truth.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right.
You can't heal. What do you need right now? What do you need right now, Laura?
Just the truth. I would just like the truth.
Okay.
And then, you know what? If the truth is, you know, I've got this sex addiction. I would like help with it. I really am sorry. I don't want to be this way. Then we'll go to counseling.
Yeah.
But if it's I'm like this and God made me like this, I want to be like this, then it's so long.
Right. No, I get it. Well, you know, and I don't have time. We don't have time to talk about it in detail, but I do something in my office that is, you know, approved by people that deal with sex addicts. It's called a therapeutic full disclosure with a polygraph. There's things that can be done. Yeah. Ooh. There's things that can be done to get you as a couple into truth and to get him as a person into recovery. And as long as...
none of our counselors helped us, so where do I go? What do I do?
All right. Well, you stay on the line, and we're going to get you connected so that you can get on a much better trajectory. It's important. And I think a lot of couples with this go into traditional marriage therapy thinking that they're going to get help, but it's not help from just a traditional marriage counselor. It's somebody that understands and specializes in sex addiction. It's a very different kind of treatment.
And I think that that's a really, really key distinction that you made there, Sheri, is that if we try to treat an addiction with a relational antidote, meaning a marital antidote, we're going to miss the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately,
I agree.
and it unfortunately happens all the time. And you know, truth is the raw material of trust. And so, Laura, my feedback in that is that right now you don't have a marriage. You have
No, I don't.
You have a living arrangement that is really painful.
Yes.
And so if you're going to have a marriage, you and Sheri, I just want to encourage this, like just double down on this. The only way to have it is truth. And that's where that, that's where that therapeutic full disclosure is the baseline here.
And you do have a biblical right to leave because of his ongoing adultery. But you also have a little evidence that's telling you, there's some bit of humility. He went to every man's battle. He's still in the group. Is it enough? That time needs to tell, in addition to his behavior and the kind of treatment that Sheri's talking about.
Yeah, that's really good. And we are going to send you a copy of Intimate Deception, Healing the Wounds of Sexual Betrayal. Sheri's wisdom and guidance in there is absolutely fantastic. And I also just want to mention that we do have the Restored conference coming up, the Restored Workshop, and it is July 12th through the 14th in Dallas. And that is for women who've been a victim of sexual betrayal. So please check that out, and we'll be back right after this.
When you give to the New Life Scholarship Fund, you're giving someone hope for a brighter future.
I was kind of in the closet and hid with my struggle. Your donation really made the difference, especially in my situation, because I would have getting laid off from my job.
At the New Life Intensives, hurting people are able to begin a new path towards healing and freedom that has an effect on all of those around them.
I think the people who support New Life financially are people that I'll never know. You know, I'll never be able to thank them personally for the gift that they gave to us. Their giving saved me, my husband, and our family from being torn apart.
To help hurting people to connect to the help they need, make your gift to the Scholarship Fund at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE and specifying scholarships.
Someone called and sponsored me to come this weekend. Whoever that is, just know that you saved a life. Literally, you saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. And, you know, at the beginning of the show, I really thanked those who just contribute and partner with us. That really does have an impact. I want to continue that thankfulness, that gratitude, because we had a matching gift in May, and we were able to match the full amount. We're able to double the giving through that matching gift. All happened in the final days, and all of that again continues to help connect hurting people towards hope of transformation, that their lives can be better, that they can live into the grace and the love and the abundance of God and what God has designed for them. So your giving does make an impact. And if you want to give, it is online at newlife.com, or you can call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and we would greatly, greatly appreciate that. With that, we're going to go back to the callers. We're going to go to Tina, listening in Marysville, Washington, on the internet. Tina, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Tina, tell us what's happening in your life today.
Oh, it's so awful.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. I have a daughter who's 45. I also have two other children, but she's been addicted to alcohol on and off. It seems like on and off. You know, it seems better and then worse. And yeah, she gets these boyfriends, and then when she leaves them, you know, let her come back into my home that I've had for about 20 years now. And now, and then she gets mad and then goes off again and with another boyfriend and starts in the cycle. And then that keeps happening. Well, this time it's awful. Now I have a granddaughter who's 12 who also lives here with me. She's living here. And and we were doing pretty good, but then she got this guy that she knew in middle school somehow, and they hooked up. And he's lost his license. He's also 45, but he can't drive since he was a teenager.
Wow.
DUIs, yeah. And so he's never stopped. Well, he decided to come to my house with her, and he just won't go. He will not go home.
You have a 45-year-old man squatting in your house?
Yes, and I'm here. And they're right next to my granddaughter's room. And I said,
wow.
I'm going to move. I'm going to sell my house and retire. And, but I'm scared for my granddaughter. I know I can't save her, but I'm scared for myself. I mean, I'm hurled very much obscenities all the time by my daughter. Tells me there is no God because she knows that hurts my heart.
Oh, Tina, this is terrifying, and they're both bullying you and
Totally.
invading your home, endangering you and your granddaughter. Oh, Tina, tell us, how have the police respond when you've asked for help?
Well, the state, too bad. You have to take it up as a civil matter. They cannot do anything about it. They've come twice because I've been afraid. And they said, we see that he's inebriated and everything else, but you'll have to file something there to evict and everything. And so my daughter says, Grandma's going to evict us. I mean, it's just a nightmare.
So has Child Protective Services been contacted?
No, they haven't, because I haven't seen them neglect her in that way to where they don't feed her. You know, she feeds her, she clothes her. And, I mean, I am a mandatory reporter, and I am this close. But I feel like since they're feeding her and, you know.
But you know it goes beyond neglect, right? Mandatory reporting.
That's what I'm wondering.
So let me say this. Don't wonder it anymore. Know it.
Okay.
I know I'm kind of coming at that strong because I hear your heart for your granddaughter. And I know you want what's best for her. And I know that it could be terrifying to get Child Protective Services involved or the state or the authorities involved in this.
How old are you?
I'm 68.
Oh, so I might help you file. I might help you file. I'm going to help you file today for elder abuse.
You know what? I tried to look that up, and they say it's only for people in like nursing homes.
Oh no. I will commit to you today. I'm going to reach out to you. We'll get your number, and I'm going to make a phone call to Adult Protective Services. We're listening to the terror in your voice.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's terror. And there are times that the police agencies, they have their rules and guidelines that drive what they can do. But this is a relational thing. You're in terror, and they're bullying you. Alice was correct to sell your house. I mean, you're at a place that you're trying to sell, thinking about selling your house because you can't get them out. That's wrong. That's broken. That's elder abuse.
And there is a thing called trespassing.
Yes, and I tried to do that the first time I called. I said I want him trespassed. They said we can't because she invited him in. And what happens when she gets out of my house every time is she takes my granddaughter away.
Okay, we know. There's a lot going on here. So I want you to hear what Sheri was saying, okay? And I want you to hear that we're going to help you go through the right avenues to take the right action to protect you and your granddaughter. And your right to see this as a very, very dangerous and desperate situation. And so Tina, first and foremost, thank you for calling in.
You're brave.
Great job. Yes, great job. So we can guide this and, again, get you the help that you need. Again, we're going to head to a break here. And again, I just want to reinforce, like, we got this restored workshop that really helps women recover from sexual betrayal. And so that is July 12th through the 14th in Dallas. If that's you, sign up today.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for your life and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-639-5433.
Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because, you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch, listening to all this great information and not paying. So my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you're with us, and so glad that Tina is with us today. She's there in Washington in this incredibly painful situation where her daughter and the current man that her daughter is with both abusing alcohol but abusing people. And this is just a horrible, horrible situation. So, friends, where do we take Tina from here?
Well, Tina, we want to bulk up the community around you because, amazingly, you have the courage to call us, but you really need other women who can understand what you're going through and other men who are willing to stand up for you and by you. And so if you're not attending Al-Anon, we want to get you there. We've got New Life recovery groups. We've got a coach we want to set you up with so that they can help see you through these steps that Sheri was telling you about. We need to get muscle around you, and that's both spiritual, physical, and emotional muscle.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think about how some of the hardest things we have to do is face our inability to say no. No is a complete sentence. And when we've got a adult child that we're worried about, concerned about, their drinking, coming back and forth, the hardest thing to do is to draw a line in the sand and not let them in.
Yeah.
There's times that we can help out family members and help them stay for a period of time. You know, it makes sense if somebody's doing their work, right? If somebody's, you have a home and you're sharing a home with somebody that's really in their recovery, they're going to AA, they're dealing with their issues. But when someone is holding you hostage by their addiction, it's not okay. Because our home becomes basically
a prison.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
And it becomes a prison of pain at that point.
Yeah.
So Tina, your first step is, and which, Sheri, thank you so much for offering guidance, we're going to help you get safe. And once we help you get safe, then we're going to then it's time to take the next steps after that, and that is separating yourself out from the abuse and the destruction, as well as getting this 12-year-old girl safe as well. So we're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back, and that will just be a support for you along the way. But again, we're going to connect you with counselors. We're going to connect you with Sheri to make the reports necessary. And with that, we are also encouraged to know that God is going to be with you and guide you throughout this process. So thank you so much for calling in, Tina. And we're going to go to Julie, listening in Detroit, Michigan on YouTube. Julie, are you there?
Yes.
And listening, I should say watching on YouTube. So we are so grateful for our YouTube watchers and listeners. So, Julie, tell us what's going on today and how we can help you.
My husband and I have been married for 40 years. He's not someone who would ever say sorry, and he doesn't accept my apology ever. He is a mega avoider. We're both avoiders, but he is a mega avoider, and he uses silent treatment as a weapon. 2 years ago, our son got divorced, and my husband is still not speaking to him. So not only did he lose his wife and his family, he lost his dad in that deal.
Yeah.
I have been thinking lately that my husband is not going to make the first step. My question is, should I encourage my son to be the one to be the bigger guy and start a conversation to try to make amends?
Julie, in addition to his decision to divorce, or I don't even know if he's the one that decided, in addition to the divorce, what about it and what else did your son do that your husband won't speak with him?
Well, when he started going to counseling for his divorce, he was encouraged to let his dad know that he didn't want to carry on the family business. So that was a real blow that he turned his back on that. But when I asked my husband, what does he feel mad about? What is going on that he's not talking to him? It seems to be such a big deal to him that because my son had to live with us for a little over a year once he had to leave his home. He didn't keep his bathroom clean. He didn't keep his room as clean as what my husband thought. So I guess he felt disrespected. I don't know. It seems like a small thing to me to stick in your craw for so long. But
so, let me ask a question about your husband. Does your husband struggle with drinking? Does he struggle with some sort? Does he struggle with pornography? Is he struggling with some sort of medicator in his life?
No, he just has strong narcissistic tendencies.
Okay.
The way I look at it.
Well, because what your husband has done is something incredibly damaging and dangerous. And do you know what that is? He's objectified the people around him, and he's especially objectified his son. His son is not a person. His son is an employee, an object for his use.
I look at it like the difference between a woman and a man is vastly different. I understand that. And a mother's love is above and beyond, and I love my kids unconditionally. This seems like he has put a condition on his love.
That's what I mean by objectification. So we typically think of objectification as a sexual objectification, and that is definitely one of them, and it is very damaging. But when we don't make a person, when we make them in the image of us, for me to be okay with you, you have to do what I want you to do. You have to execute my will. And you're right. That's very narcissistic. So my concern there, Julie, is that your son is not the amend maker. Because exactly. So there's no reason for him to do it.
I disagree.
Okay, go for it. Go for it, Alice. I love this. Yes.
Because I could see, Julie, that your husband felt like your son took advantage of the time he got to live in your home. He wasn't okay, and respect for a father. I think it is a really big deal. And I know you said, how could that stick in his craw for so long? And I think your husband's taking it too far. But if he felt abandoned and maybe suddenly abandoned by your son with the family business, perhaps without sufficient explanation, and then he feels hurt and upset that your son took advantage of getting to live in the home. And that's your husband's perspective. He may not be right about it, but if that's piled on top of a history of other wounds, it doesn't mean your husband is in the right, but I think it does mean your son played a part in what led to the rupture. And I was thinking about Matthew 5:23, where we're told, if you're trying to bring your gift to the altar, but your brother has something against you, go and try with what you can to make amends. And so because your son has been imperfect, I think it is worthwhile, if he's willing, to make his apologies for having been an imperfect son, or to talk with his dad about, I know leaving the business was really hurtful to you. And Dad, I'm open to hear about it. I want to talk about it because I'd rather have a relationship with you than not. Your husband may reject it, but I don't think it'd be a bad thing for your son to make the attempt. How do you think he would respond if you didn't encourage him to do that?
How would my husband respond?
How would your son respond if you encouraged him?
He might do it. He's much more in tune to things like that. My husband is not. My husband, there's no depth there as far as him and my relationship. It's all surface.
In a way, it's unfair to ask your son to do this or encourage him to do it. And we got to think about, does that enable your husband to stay in this cycle of giving people the silent treatment when he's upset with them? And it might. There's a risk of that. But because we're supposed to take that beam out of our own eye first, and because we do hurt each other in families, I don't think it would be harmful for your son to make the attempt to apologize for his part in the problems.
And I would have to let my son know that that's how his dad feels, because he has no idea that's why he's getting treated this way.
But you know your son, there's a reason why he's not deciding to carry out the family business. You know that. Do you know the reason?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, it's multiple. He had an idea. His dad was like this, of course, from over the years. And he feels his childhood was overshadowed by, Mom and Dad always got to work. That comes first. And he didn't want to carry it on to his kid.
Yep.
Multiple reasons.
I think I'm sitting here looking at a list of diagnostic criteria for OCPD, Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorder. And there's 8 things. Don't have time to go over them on the radio, but I think if you went through that list of 8 things, you might find that your husband is that.
In the category, yes. So we'll be right back right after this.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are. Daniel Grossman on coaching.
Coaches are really focused on the future and helping people to develop those skills and those strategies to help them move forward in their life. A coach really partners with you to focus on things like personal growth or health goals, spiritual growth, helping you develop in your career, or possibly strengthening your relationships, or maybe even breaking free from a negative pattern.
If you need a coach for life, your career, relationships, your health and fitness, leadership, and more, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been screened and certified with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
Coaches use different techniques. Some like to use strategic questions and accountability, ultimately empowering you to take those next steps towards your goals.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and talk to us about getting a New Life coach today.
I really believe that everyone can use a coach in their corner.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live, and we're talking with Judy in Detroit, Michigan, who is just dealing with a really painful family situation, a really challenge, and that is the estrangement of her son and her husband.
Yeah. And sometimes you can feel so unsure. I just want you to we have 1 minute for me to ask you. And I just want you to say yes or no, because you know these things on the top of your mind. Is your husband preoccupied with details, rules, lists, order? Yes or no? Yes or
I guess so. I guess you could say yes.
Okay. Shows perfectionism. Yes or no?
Yes.
Is excessively devoted to work. Yes or no?
Yes.
Is inflexible about matters of morality, ethics, and values. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Is unable to discard worn out or worthless objects even when they have no sentimental value.
Yes.
Okay. Is reluctant to delegate tasks to other people because they think they can do it better.
Yes.
Adopts a miserly spending. Is frugal.
No.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay, and
he's
then
not as generous as I would like him to be, but he's not frugal. No.
Okay, and then shows rigidity or stubbornness.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I was nodding my head on that one. Okay, you just had to have 5 or more. So he's got 7 out of 8. I want you to think about that, maybe in a new paradigm. Because what you're trying to do is control somebody who may have OCPD. Now, I'm not telling you to go to your husband today and go, I think you have OCPD. That's probably not going to work well because he's going to be the last person to the party to want to actually acknowledge that about himself, because that would be an imperfection. But I think right now I want you to be able to start studying up on it. Start trying to make sense of why you're in a situation and why it's so hard and why your heart has been hurting on the other side of the man that you've been married to for all these years. So practically, this call might be a pivot, right? It might be a way that you can start learning about what's going on. I think you're in distress because your husband, I think he has OCPD, and I think that the disconnect is hurting you. But I think trying to control your son, trying to rescue their relationship, you can talk to your son about what Dr. Alice said. That may be a path through. But I just think your son didn't want to do the family business because he's tired of being judged and controlled. It wasn't freedom for him.
Right.
And so that is a decision that he made, and I think your son made a really good decision because he chose freedom. He chose himself.
And in that, to echo what Dr. Alice was saying, is that your son, although he has been kind of under the thumb of your husband's struggle with his obsessive compulsive ways of being in the world, including relationally, and that's part of what I refer to as the objectification, your son also doesn't need to live under the victimization of that, still needs responsibility in his life, and still needs forward progress.
And maybe even understanding that if this makes sense to your son, he might go, oh, that's what Dad has.
Yes, there's a thing.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, not to make excuses for it, but it sure does bring a lens of understanding.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yes, we're going to actually send you a copy of How We Love, because you mentioned the avoider, and there's more going on underneath the surface that we want you to explore with that, especially OCPD. But we also want you to understand these dynamics that happen in these relational patterns as well. So, Judy, thank you so much for calling in, and wow, what, as we say each show, I learned so much from you guys.
I do too.
So
I learned
that
from
was
you guys.
great process. What we call great diagnostics in that. So we're going to go to one more caller. We're going to go to Dan in New York City, New York, listening online. Dan, how you doing from the Big Apple?
Oh, awesome! It's nice to hear your voice, Chris and Sheri and Allison. I really appreciate you giving me some time and the gift of your time right now.
Oh, well, we appreciate the gift of you. So tell us what gift you got for us today.
Well, God works in mysterious ways, because I was calling and I called the wrong number. And anyways, I was calling to thank everyone and God first. I'd like to thank God and all glory to God, but I'm so grateful for the opportunity, even though it wasn't the best circumstances for me, but I showed up to the emotional freedom with you guys this online this
Good
past,
for you.
Great job, man.
Yeah, and I just want to get clear to thank you all, and I'm not it's been a long try and struggle, but I was so grateful, and 3 days up to it and the night before were so difficult that I remember getting into bed at 7, because I couldn't really, I guess they send the information the day before, but anyways, the point was is that I'm very grateful, I'm thankful, and
you made it, you got there.
Yeah, because...
and there was challenges. So, Dan, let me ask a question, because this will be helpful for us. This will be such a gift for me, maybe even self-indulgent for me.
Compliment, Chris. Go ahead, Dan.
Let me ask it for you. So he doesn't but what did you learn? Give us the one thing that you walked away with.
Yep.
What did you walk away with? The one thing.
Well, I probably shouldn't even be... I wasn't planning to be on the show. I was trying. I have all the numbers together, and I must have dialed the wrong number.
Well, we're gonna count it. You dialed the right number. So, yeah. What is that one thing that God showed you? That one thing that you walked away with?
Probably there wasn't just one thing, but the one thing that how when you know something, but to know it in your head, or to have awareness doesn't equal change, but then because of someone saying it in a different environment or a different way, that it connects in a different way, and you are allowed, it frees it up to allow it to actually become known and incorporated into your life in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, the one thing was that you don't need somebody that's been exactly through what you've been through in order for God to use them as a channel to help you, or for you to love them. And that would be that. And also, honestly, I was calling, even though, is it Jackie? Is that that did the trauma section. And also, what's really strange is I was calling to thank the person that had helped me because I didn't find out, and I had struggled before, and evidently I was meant to be there, but the point was that I wanted to ask if there's any way I could get a transcript, because I didn't know if that's...
Well, here's Dan, here's what we'll do, because our time together on the show is very limited right now, but here's what we'll do. We will connect you back to our call center, and they will help you get connected with the resources that you need to keep on your healing journey.
He said it moved from his head to his heart. Basically, it's awesome.
And we're going to send you
a heart connection.
Yeah, we're going to send you a copy of Healing as a Choice. I'm going to send my wife a copy of Understanding and Loving a Narcissistic Personality Disorder.
She already has it.
Right, yeah, she has a couple of copies. But thank you so much. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, my amazing co-host, and have a great, wonderful weekend.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE, but when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.